Welcome to day one, tonight's dinner. Sort of winging it tonight. I really decided I wanted a curry, but I bought mince, not chicken, but anyway, we'll go into that. But I am going to make some onion bhajis. So I'm going to really quickly just slice this onion up. On the board, I've got about 50 grams-ish of gram flour. I've got a couple of dried chilies. Unfortunately, in Spain, it's really, really hard to get fresh chilies. And my chili plant, I've used them all, so I don't have any left. So I'm having to use dried. And then I've got some gram masala. And this is actually a gram masala I've made myself. I've been playing around with spices and stuff for the last few years. Some egg and then some water. And it wasn't until I started doing this I suddenly realised, actually I don't actually have many mixing bowls. So for this bit I'm going to use a jug. I might use a spoon. So onion in my bowl, as it were. I'm going to add the gram flour. I'm going to scritch up these chilies a little bit and get them in. Then I'm going to add the gram masala. Give it a bit of a mix. So easy, mix it all up. Just going to grab a pinch of salt. Quite a big pinch. Then, because I'm only cooking for two, my normal recipe I use, it's the whole egg, which I actually don't need it, so I'm going to try and use half an egg. It's a bit wasteful, but keep it to one side. I might have to add some more later. Mix that in. Well, not the easiest thing to do in a jug, but hey, it'll work with what you got. And I've got about 2 tablespoons of water. And once that's all mixed in, it does look like a really dry mix at the moment. But with the salt and the other bits and pieces, the onion juice, or the juice from the onion, will slowly, after, in the half hour or so I'm going to leave it to stand, will seep into the rest of the mixture. So it will go a little bit gooey and malleable, so you can put it into balls or shapes. And, well, for the onion bhajis, for the moment, that's it. So obviously in a while I'll be cooking them, so we'll come back then. Right, see you soon. Okay, now for my sauce. I don't have ghee here. Again, it's something else you don't really get in Spain, but if you're in the UK, possibly America, you've probably got Asian shops where you can get it. So I'm just using a normal butter basically in the pan. I just remembered something, so while that melts, I'm just going to grab something out of my drawer. I've got roughly a small onion, and I've just roughly chopped it up, because I'm going to blitz this sauce at the end. So I'm going to bung the onion in. And then literally with the garlic, it's whole, but I've just crushed it with a knife, just flat side of the knife. Just pressed it down. So while it's sort of cooking, some of that flavour will also come out rather than just having a whole piece of garlic. And what I went for the drawer was, it's just a little bit of chicken stock. So if you're a vegetarian, use vegetarian stock. And use vegetables for the next part rather than meat that I'm going to do. Okay, so I need to let this soften in the onions, get really soft, a little bit brown, a little bit golden. So that's going to take about 10 minutes. So obviously I'm not going to bore you while that's going on. We'll come back to it very shortly. See you soon. Okay, so it's been roughly about 10 minutes and I've been prepping other bits and pieces for the meat. So my onions have softened down, they're browning. So now I'm going to add my spices. This is actually a tikka masala mix that I've made. Still working on the recipe a little bit. I just realised out the jar there's still a bit of cinnamon in there, but it's fine. So I'm going to whack it in with the onions. And again, it needs a couple of minutes just to cook off those spices so you don't get that powdery taste in your mouth. So I'm just going to leave, again, that in the pan on a low heat, just to slowly cook off that powderiness out of the spices. So, catch you in a minute. Okay, so it's been a few minutes. You can see it's going a bit dry, but the spices are like near enough cooked off now. I don't know, max 5 minutes or so. For you guys here in Spain, we've got like it's called tomato frito. Tinned tomatoes, whatever, tomato pure with water, whatever you want to use. So I'm going to squeeze some of that in. So that's roughly about half. So that's about 200 grams of the tomato frito. So I'm just going to mix it down. I am going to add a little bit of water. Because when you blitz onions in a sauce, well, especially when you're doing Indian food, it's the onions that make the sauce thick, and is just splashed it over, and it makes it part of the sauce. So I'm just gonna even light some heat. So I've got a stick blender here. Gonna have to blend it down. Just the onions. It will need some more water. Okay. Put it over the stick. A tick. Okay. Put that in the sink. So as you can see, obviously, that is now really quite a thick sauce. And for what I'm making, it needs to be a bit smoother and a little bit looser, a little bit runnier. Okay, so I'm going to add some more water to this, blitz it down again, and then you'll see it later. Alright. For the meat part, I'm actually making a style of kofte meatball. Obviously, normally with Indian cooking it'd be lamb. Minced lamb in Spain is quite rare, you don't often see it in the shops. And when you do see lamb, it is very expensive. Again, a bit like probably anywhere else. So I have actually a bit of minced pork, which I'm going to add a few bits and pieces to. But I diced some onion earlier. I probably only need about this half. I need to use that, so I'm just going to leave it there. So, with my onion, again, like I said, no fresh chilies. I'm using dried chilies. I'm just going to, you can sort of see, stuff that in the bowl. I've got some chopped up garlic here. If you can't find any chop, grate it. It's absolutely fine, or use a garlic press, whatever you prefer. So that's going in. I'm using my homemade gram masala again. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that in the bowl. Yeah, sorry, I know it's not very good for you. With the chilli, I ran out of fresh ginger the other day, and unfortunately where we shop didn't have any more. So I've got a tiny bit of ground ginger left. So I'm going to put, I suppose that's a pinch. And then I'm going to season it. I've got salt and pepper. So a good pinch of salt, just a little bit more. Nice pinch of pepper. And then literally, I'm going to mix this all together. So it's one of those things, you know, if you like being a bit tactile with your food, it's good fun. And then for colour, I've still got a bit of the tomato frito left. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Just a teaspoon, I suppose, if you can see. Mix that in. And there is one thing I've just realised I have forgotten. I actually just need to pop out to the garden and get a bit of fresh coriander. So bear with me and I'll be back. Right, okay. I've added my coriander and I have added a little bit of flour to my meat mix. And now I'm going to make it into little balls. It is quite a wet mix, so I am going to flour my hands just to make it a bit easier. So I'm just going to pull some off and literally roll them into balls. A bit more flour. Around my hands. You know, they don't have to be perfect. If you're having guests for dinner, maybe you want to make sure they're more of the basic same size. What I'm going to do is drop them in. There's a possible chance I should have used a bigger pot, but hey, we'll see. And then I'm going to put this back on the heat, and I'm going to simmer it with the lid on until the meatballs are cooked. And like I said earlier, I am completely winging this meal. I really fancied curry. We only had mince on the budget. So fingers crossed, my meatballs stay, you know, they stay together. And yeah, we'll come back later and see. Talk to you soon. Okay. Coffee meatballs, rice, naan bread.
Fantastic.
How much do you think that cost?
How much do I think?
Yeah.
Looking at that, €4.
Oh, it's not my guess. Did you see my notes?
No. No, I'm sure.
Right, I have my notes here next to me. I thought you might have seen them when I picked them up.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not.
$3.94.
Yeah. This is the, these costings for the onion bhajis, the meatballs and the sauce are pretty accurate. I've added on a rough estimate for the naan breads and the mint sauce, etc. And for two of us, our meal tonight comes to €3.94.
That's great though.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then, well, we'll let you know how it tastes later.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
See you soon.